Plant your hands and come into your variation of plank pose. So plank on your knees or high plank. Have your heels lifted and press out as if you were pressing into a wall behind you. Do a little movement with the upper back. As you exhale, pull and round your upper back just a little bit. And as you inhale, you want to bring your chest forward just a little bit. So not a big movement. Exhale, round and press. Inhale, chest forward just a little bit. Your pelvis stays relatively neutral. Exhale, round and come forwards. One more time. And then slowly lower. When you get all the way down, press the tops of your feet to the mat and bring your hands off the mat, right up on your fingertips, elbows lifted. Press your feet into the ground, tuck your chin in, and roll your way up. And slowly lift, and your chin comes up last, and slowly lay yourself down. So matching your wave-like breath motion with this wave-like spine motion, lifting up heavy and engaged through your legs, and then waving down. One more time. And bring your hands underneath your armpits, tuck your toes, press back into puppy pose. Right up on your fingertips, let your chest sink down. And come to your hands and your knees. Bring your left knee forward to the outside of your left wrist and your right knee to the outside of your right wrist. So towards the top of your mat, big toes touching, knees wide. You might sit up on a block here if that creates a bit more space in your knees. And then lean back. So if your hands don't quite touch, you could put blocks underneath your hands. And you keep your knees pressed down, but lift your pelvis up. Scoop your tailbone forwards as if you're threading it up and towards the ceiling. And lift, 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 pressing up, opening the front of your body, particularly hip flexors, and really squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the muscles around your hips. And then keep the tilt of your pelvis, bring your hips down. So this might be your maximum. Maybe you can come back down onto your elbows. Maybe you can come down all the way onto your shoulders. Either way, whichever shape you end up in, keep tilting your pelvis forward so you really do feel the majority of the lengthening in the big muscles of your thighs, as opposed to sort of arching into a deep back bend. Choose your shape. Be there for 5 breaths. If you're all the way down in your shoulders, come up to your elbows first. And then from your elbows up to your hands with the least amount of twisting possible. Hands on the mat in front of you, and step back into down dog, doing any counter movements or shapes that feel good to you. And bring your knees down to the mat. And you're sitting up tall onto your knees, tuck your toes under. Bring your hands to your hips with your fingers facing forward and your thumbs just along the sort of top edge of your pelvis there. Roll your shoulders back and lift your chest up. So this is a little bit of a front body lengthening. So if you notice when the instruction is to lift your chest up, that you lean back, see if you can keep your pelvis forwards. So this is version 1. working on lifting your chest. Version 2, press your pelvis forwards as you lift up and start to arch back, but making sure your pelvis is staying forward, knees and hips in one line, as opposed to just bending your knees and leaning back like so. Using your hands to support your low back, you could stay up, or maybe you could reach for your heels. Remember to keep pressing your pelvis forward, lift your chest, and maybe you let your head drop back. Practice 2-part breath. If you have your head back, keep it back while you replace your hands to your back. Slowly come up, your shoulders will lift your head. Untuck your toes, and then sit. Notice, what sensations do you feel? What's being reflected back to you?